the World Healing Tour movement with your host, Noah Crane. Heal yourself, heal the world.
Hey everybody, my name is Lisa Ray. I'm a literary agent and I'm working with the media team here at The Grass Grows where I am, and we are so excited to bring you a co-author experience where you will grow your brand and your visibility. Click the link below and apply now for free, and we will see you inside the pages of The Grass Grows where I am.
Hello, and welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast, where our mission is to help you heal yourself so you can heal the world. Hi, my name is Noah Crane. Each week, we will bring you tips and tools and inspire you to live your most empowered and joyful life. I'm also the author of the book, The Grass is Greenest Where I Am, because the grass is greenest where you are when you say so. When you choose to live in a place of no comparison, no competition, and no scarcity. When you choose to live in your own love and light and share your unique gifts with the world, because we are all unique. And that's why it's called the World Healing Tour. Because when you heal yourself, you truly find your gifts and are able to create that impact, that ripple effect in the world to help others heal as well. Each week, we bring incredible guests into studio to help pour into you and help you live your most empowering life. How would you like to worry less and enjoy life more? My guests today are here to teach you how to do that. I'm so excited to have them here on the show. Welcome, Why Worry World, to the World Healing Tour podcast.
Thank you, Noah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Nice
you.
to be here.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so excited to have you with me today. And also the fact that you guys were at World Healing Tour too, right? So we got to collaborate on an incredible event. I'm so grateful for your support to be part of this event. Can we start by just talking a little bit about the event and how that was, the experience was for you to be part of the World Healing Tour event? So Lou, do you want to start?
Oh my gosh. It was really a great opportunity. You have been doing a lot of different events in the community to help the world heal, like literally. And your event was a culmination of so many different vendors and participants. We had an opportunity to showcase Why Worry World, which was really terrific, and our ARE method, which supports people in worrying less and enjoying life more. It was really touching to be able to work really one-on-one with several of your guests and to actually see that there was a difference made right there at your convention. So thank you.
Yeah, and I love that you were a part of it. Your energies, you got definitely brought the energy and the love and the connection to the event. So I'm so excited for future collaborations. I just feel like we're so aligned with each other. How was the experience for you, Ricky?
So it was really phenomenal as well. And what I really enjoyed was learning other techniques to connect with us and our method, because, just being in the ARE method doesn't alone make you worry less. There's many, many things that you have to do. And I learned so much at the event that day and just really enjoyed all your guests and all of their teachings as well. And I just thought it was a nice way to bring so many different people together and really start to heal the world.
I love that so much. And how about for you, Abdul? Because I was really excited to see you there as well.
Yes, I really was. And thank you so much for really being who you are and creating a platform where those of us who are also committed to that healing have a space to shine. And that really is just kudos to you for creating that. And I feel like my biggest takeaways were just connection, this really deep, heartfelt connection with those of us who are also up to things. So it's like this sense of I'm at home. And oftentimes out in the world, we feel alone in this, this stuff that's going on out there that oftentimes has an impact on our worry and our anxiety and our stress. And so it was really awesome to connect and then to have that connection really turn into community. And, as you said, it's something that I feel like so inspired to be a part of. So it's now like our community, and we're hopeful to do more. And then the collaboration, as Ricky there were so many, mentioned, there were so many different modalities that are there and different ways that we can find our own true path in our nature. and really this connectiveness. So for me, it was really the connection, the community, and the collaboration that I found there that I'll take away forever. Thank you
Oh, I
for
love
creating
that.
that.
Community, collaboration, connection, you guys. That's what it's all about. So I love your work. I love what you guys are doing in the world. And I want everybody to hear about your work in the world. So we have here Lou, Ricky, and Abdul. And there's one more that's not here today. What's her name? Sil?
Sil, yeah.
Sil is not here. So they will be sharing with you about why worry world, because there's no reason to worry, because there's so many tools out there for you to be able to live happier and more fulfilling life, right? And let's start with talking about worry. Worry is an emotion, right?
Correct. And the big thing that we saw about worry is that worry hasn't happened yet. You're always worried about something that may happen, but guess what? Maybe it won't happen. So together we started to look and we said, okay, well, if your worry is future based, what is it that you could do about it? Oh, maybe you could actually say what it is that you want to have happen and then have that happen. And from there, Why Worry World was born.
So how did you beautiful people come together? Because I mean, it takes something to say, hey, we see a problem here and we have a solution. And you guys are all, I know you're coaches, you're very evolved, you've all done work with Landmark Education. So you've worked around communities and people and wanting to make a difference. What's your story? How did you all come together?
Well,
Yeah, I think
I would
Lou is
like
the
to
big
start with
connector.
Lou because Lou is our connection. She is somebody who is in the world making connections. And we were actually in a course together, and she said something about wanting to invent something. And I said, invent something? I want to invent something too. So I went over to Lou, and actually Sil at the time was in that course as well, and the three of us just started to share. And then when we came up with and saw about worry and how present it is in everybody's life, we decided to create Why Worry World. And again, Lou, being our connector, said, oh, well, I know some people who would be able to help us because we didn't know the first thing about getting started. And with those connections, she brought in Abdul.
Yeah.
And we have another partner. His name is Stephen as well. And
So Lou, very creative of you. So what made you say, hey, I see a need for something, there's more here for us to go into and to, how do I find my people to do that together? Like, it's cool that you were able to tap into that.
Right. Well, it was really interesting that we were in this course together and wanting to have something out there in the world was really something that was first and foremost and something that would make a difference. And it's really easy to think about inventions. Like, all three of us knew each other, but we didn't realize that we literally had these books of inventions that we had been doodling and creating. And when we came together, like Ricky was saying, it became more of what is wanted and needed in the world versus an actual item. Now, of course, we have items to remind you, to worry less and enjoy life more. But we want you to be worry less, right? And so anyway, it just started that way. And Abdul and Stephen are fabulous in strategic marketing and development. So they certainly were top of mind when it is that we were looking at how it is that we could develop our team. So we're delighted and excited that they're our partners as well.
No, it's incredible how it came together.
Yeah.
So you guys came to Abdul, and then Abdul came on board as well, and you guys formed this amazing team. And what is your biggest commitment in the difference you want to make for people? You want them not to worry, and I know you share tools with them, right? How to do that. You guys also have online courses. Like, what are some of the things or what's the perfect customer for you? Somebody who worries a lot, or what? I just want to get a bigger picture of, your people that you're looking to help. Is it people that worry or people that have fears? What are some of the things that you're looking for in someone that is like the perfect person for you to work with?
Well, I think that we all have worries. I mean, there are big and small worries. Would you not say?
yes.
Yeah. So we created this methodology that you can work through. I would say a big and small worry. Would you not?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that we first saw too. sometimes you spend your day worrying about the little things. What am I going to have for dinner? How am I going to get the laundry done? How am I going to pick my kids up? And all of those little worries, they come up all day long. So we were in the market of saying, in order to address the bigger worries, like I want to buy a house, or I'm going to retire, or I want to take my family on a vacation and I have no idea where to go. So those bigger worries, those bigger concerns, they're hard to manage or work through when you're dealing with these other little worries. So we came up with a method that actually can have you have those little worries just disappear, right? They just disappear, and when they disappear, now you're open and have availability um, to address the things that you really want to have happen. And I just want to answer your question about who is our market. As Lou said, everybody worries. And sometimes we pretend we don't worry. Sometimes we walk around like, oh, I'm so cool or whatever, but everybody worries. So our market is really everybody, which I just think is so beautiful. And for me, the goal is that people know you have a say in how your life is going to be. So you might as well make it the way that you want it to be. And that is really possible.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So the small stuff, you help people get rid of the small worries. So because the small worries can build up into big worries, is that what it is?
Exactly, exactly. Many times people are paralyzed with those small worries.
I look at it as, you ever hear the analogy, and I know I'm going to botch it, so someone sharper than me, no pun intended, get it correct. But you ever hear of dying by the little cuts, the paper cuts? If that was it, 1,000 little cuts. And so when you look at it, I'm the nerd, so I'll bring in the psychology of what we're doing. When you break down what Ricky described, these constant worries that take place, it sets the body and the nervous system into a state that it's producing high levels of cortisol,
Fight or flight.
fight or flight. That's right. And it sets your brain into where you're accessing more of your amygdala versus your prefrontal cortex, which allows you to actually solve problems and to have compassion and empathy and to actually deal with the things that are causing you anxiety and stress. And so when you're caught up in this physiological, what we call imbalance, and you're trying to deal with anything, whether it's a small issue or, where I like to go, real fears, right? Like, I'm going to get shot when I walk out of the street because I live in the hood, because I've got socioeconomic conditions that are grappling me, right? So real talk. There's different levels to this. So when we ask who are we here for, we're here for everyone. Those people that are dealing with things that are just lightweight, like easy things, and then people who are really dealing with life and death situations. And what we've done is we've looked at the research, and we looked at the top 10 things that people are actually worried about,
Yeah,
right?
we want to talk about those, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are the areas that we focus on most. So when you look at who our target audience is those people who are actively seeking to solve a worry or stress in their world, right? Because I always like to say you can bring camels to the water, but you can't make them drink. And so while it's accurate, everyone can use our service. Everyone can really worry less and enjoy life more. Who our target audience is are those who understand, just like you, the World Healing Tour, you're looking for those leaders who are trying to actually heal here and then heal the world. For us as well, right? It starts by understanding and taking ownership of your sense of where your worry and stress is, and then seeing it in an empowering context so that you're able to access the resources that we have available, the ARE method that the team has broken down to empower you to address any of those worries, right? So that you can worry less and enjoy life more.
Yeah, and I always say that, that fear will freeze you, but love will free you. So worrying
Love that.
creates a lot of fear in your life, right? So we have to learn to free ourselves, from that worry. And my husband always says, don't, the book, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff, right?
That's right.
And the small stuff for a lot of us seem like so big.
That's right.
But yet it's so small. So you're able to break that down for people and show them that they don't need to worry about all that small stuff because there's a bigger picture, would you
Yes.
say?
Yes. There's a bigger picture. And go ahead, Ricky, because I know you're going to deep dig on this. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
so
you.
because what I was going to say, so I don't want anybody to feel like, those small issues are not important.
That's right.
Because any
That's what'll
worry
kill
that
you.
you have is an important worry.
That's right.
And every worry that you have stops you from actually creating what it is that you want to create for yourself. So when you speak about, these little worries and they do spiral, because the other thing that we saw about worry is that one worry begets another worry.
That's right.
It's not like, oh, you get to solve that worry and now your worries are gone. No, you solved that worry and guess what? A new worry showed up. And all of the worries, they're all important, but the thing is that they don't have to hold you down.
That's right.
Yeah, and how important, I'm just curious about this, and I didn't ask you this, how important is authenticity to worry less? Does that have anything to do with each other? I'm just curious because I feel like the minds can be delusional at time and we could, take us to all kinds of places. And we make stories, we make up things, right? We're not always. So how important is it to be authentic with yourself to be able to worry less? Does that have any correlation in what you guys found or not? I was just wondering.
I don't think it does because we actually took on a method, right? So, and it's a method, if you follow the steps, you'll be worrying less. The authenticity, I think, comes in once you really start to look at maybe you weren't really worried about that. Um, if I can just briefly share a story,
I'd love that,
yesterday
yeah.
I went to bowling and somebody that I had had an argument with was there, and I could not get myself calm. Like, I just couldn't get myself calm. And I was looking like, well, why can't I get myself calm? Why can't I get myself calm? I'm not upset with the girl anymore. And it took really leaving and sitting with it and working through our ARE method for me to look to see what was really right there. And what I realized was that there were things that I hadn't said. And I was like, oh, look at that. I didn't say that. So this morning when I woke up, I immediately called the girl, said what I needed to say. Everything was handled so quickly. And I was like, wow, if I could have seen that or did that yesterday, right? Because we don't always, when we're in it, when we're worrying, when we're thinking, you're not always present to the actions to take, right? But when I was able to stop and wait it out and look to see, well, what am I really worried about, right? Because that's the first step in the ARE method. I was able to look and see, oh, look, I didn't say that. And that's what there was to say. So it's kind of
And
like
I
that.
love that story, right? Because we bundle up things inside a lot, but you had to get authentic with yourself
Correct.
to be able to come clean about it.
Right. So
that's
maybe
why,
authenticity is a
so
very
that's why I
important
said
thing.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look
I
at
think
that.
so.
Yeah.
I was going to come
Yeah.
from a totally different angle. I was going to
Right.
say authenticity is 100% it because people worry because they've got masks on. They're not being authentic.
Right.
So the thing that they're worried about most is being busted, and the emperor has no clothes, and you really aren't who you say you are. You really aren't as all of this. You really don't have all of that you're acting like because we've been bought and sold this whole thing of fake it till you make it. And that creates a lot of anxiety and stress because you really are fake. And so behind that, you got anxiety and stress. And so authenticity to me has 100% everything to do with it from the angle that Ricky's saying, because you got to get authentic to really get at
Yeah, and that's
what
what
you're
I
worried
that's what
about.
I was hearing,
Right.
and
Right.
you know, and you guys, I don't know if you know that, but the highest vibration is authenticity.
That's right.
It's even higher than gratitude.
That's right.
So that's why I was saying, that's why I thought it might be a part of it. But I'd love to get into some of the work that you do and some of the worries that you help people deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to talk about some of the top 10 worries? I think
Yeah, the top 10.
the top 10 go ahead, Ricky.
No, you go because I'm not going to know them all, which is a worry. So right now I'm sitting here all worried because I don't know the
Don't
top
worry
10.
about it. I know them, but I know Lou knows them.
Well, I think that,
Who knew, Lou knows?
immediately a lot of times people think about worry inside of finance, right? And you've got inside of finance, there's career and advancement and that sort of thing, but also finance and just being able to pay your rent. We also think about relationships, as a worry, with your children, with the rest of your family, your spouse, um, with your friends or
Yeah.
coworkers, things like that. And there are worries such as death and health, right? Um, and
Safety.
safety,
Safety,
correct? And we've got worries inside of
travel,
political
logistics,
climate
yes,
that can be a
geopolitical.
concern, yeah.
Hmm.
And travel, which it's so funny because you think, well, how on earth could you have a worry, if you're thinking about something as exciting as travel? But, that can bring on anxiety. How do you save for it? How do you even know, you know, I want to go to Africa. How can I do that? I
How about
want to go
just
to New
flying on a
Zealand.
plane?
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
worry. That's my
Yes.
first worry,
That can
right?
be, yeah.
To
Or
get
your
there
luggage.
safe,
Your luggage. Your
Right,
tiny
that's always
Yeah.
fun. The
you know,
packing.
there's so much there. And there are some additional ones you want to share?
Yeah, I think we've kind of branched off and kind of actually covered most of them by hitting it, but most of them have health related, the safety related. Also, when you look at having a disconnect with purpose and people, right? People are very worried about being lonely and being left alone, and not having a sense of community and family around them. And when you look at there's a direct correlation. We study like blue zones and things like that and centurions. And when you break down the things that have people living the longest, it's funny to look at the correlation between the things that people worry about and the things that those who are living the longest are actually doing. It's kind of like it's telling. So when you look at those things, and acceptance, being a part of the tribe, being accepted in, these are things that people worry and stress about. And when you look at one of the it's a very sad statistic that really had me most enrolled when these amazing partners came is really looking at what's happening and the impact that COVID had
Mm.
on mental health. And when you look at, the things that people are dying from and the fact that oftentimes we can do things to prevent them. And when you look at the impact of death, finances and health, I mean that's huge. And so just to look at the impact of dealing with anxiety and stress around mental health and wellness and how that allows us to heal right there, I mean, that's big. I think it touches everything there.
Yeah, and what I also hear and what I would think a lot that you probably help people do is also to be present, right? Because when they say if you're in the past, you're going to feel depressed. If you're in the future, you're going to feel anxious.
Anxious.
Yeah.
But if you're right here in the present moment, you're going to be more peaceful and joyful and happy. So it's also bringing people. We are so pulled away from the present moment. It's very easy. We're on social media. We're being pulled away all the time. So how do we bring ourselves back to now? Is that a tool you also use with your clients?
Connection is very, very important. And when you take through the ARE method, one of the things that you get to reflect on is actually who are the people. Because what we've noticed is you can't do it by yourself. And when you start going down that tunnel, like, I don't have anybody to call, or how am I going to get this done, or all of a sudden you are really paralyzed. And that being paralyzed like that is the thing that's going to stop you. How do you get unparalyzed? Oh, get some support, and that's the connection. And and I was sharing this a little bit earlier with Noah before we had started, but with the AI coming and how big AI is, it is so independent and you're so on your own. But AI does not work by itself. It actually works with others. And the only way that you can get the AI to work is to be in a group, to be with other people, to be sharing. And those connections are what brings down your anxiety level, because you'll notice that when you're with other people, you're not as worried, you're not as anxious, you're not as, frazzled. And that's what Abdul speaks a lot about how do you bring that down first.
And that's the mindfulness that you're talking about. So when you speak about being in the present moment, the way that you get access to being in the present moment is by breathing. And so breath work is a big part of what we teach and as a resource. And just take a deep breath with me right now. We can just feel it. Just
Definitely,
just like
definitely.
that.
Yeah, and it's the flow of the breath, and you feel it going through your body, and it's not stuck energy.
That's right.
It's moving energy.
Moving
So we
energy
feel that energy of movement within ourselves, and absolutely, that definitely brings us more to the present
brings you
moment.
present,
Yeah.
brings you present, and then you have access. Once you're present, I always like to use something. Say, breathe in, let out, and create. And when you breathe in, you become present to what's there for you authentically. Right? You have to be free to self-express. If it's anger, if it's pain, don't hide that. Right? You got to be real with it. Right? Express that, or else you bottle it up, and then it turns into disease in your body because there's somatic suppression of anxiety and depression. You either release it or it becomes part of you. You get it? And so you can be a part of the light and breathe in freshness and then identify what's been held in your body, what's been stagnant in this body that has been, it's made up of what we eat, it's made up of other molecules and water,
Right.
right? So get present to the vibration of what's being held in you. And that happens by breathing in, and now you can feel what's there, what tension, what anxiety needs to be present, and you're accessing your prefrontal cortex so you can solve problems now that your body is feeling that you need to just release. And whether it's known consciously or unconsciously, because you're connecting with the breath and the body, you then release. And now, when you put intention into what you're able to release, you can create an intended outcome. And this is what Ricky was talking about earlier, where you're becoming what in Landmark calls we call cause in the matter, right? And then you're part of what you're creating. And if you're creating from that space and place, then this whole concept that you were speaking of, where there's no future, no past, really, but what we're creating, you immediately can eliminate it because you're in the present moment and you're saying, I want this to be what's happening. So there is nothing to be anxious about because now you are saying it's going to be this or something better. And when you're operating from that space and place, you're in homeostasis. Your nervous system has shifted to a place of relaxation, to a place of peace. You know, parasympathetic to sympathetic, and then now you're relaxed in your parasympathetic nervous system, and you're at peace, and you're no longer anxious and depressed now. You are empowered, and you're in a space to create, and that's breathe in, let out, create. One of the resources that Why Worry World provides.
Yeah, I love that. So you teach people breath work,
Mm-hmm.
right? What are some, actually, we're going to take a quick commercial break from our sponsor, and we'll be right back to continue this incredible conversation with Why Worry World.
Hi, I'm Chris Trammell. I'm the marketing director for The Grass Grows Where I Am, and we can't wait to work with you. And if being in this anthology book would make a difference for your brand, your visibility, and your profitability, click the link below and let's get you started. Can't wait to work with you.
And we are back with Why Worry World. We're having a great conversation. They're sharing their tools to help you worry less and enjoy life more. Yes, I love
you
that.
when you were asking some of the tools, one of the things, we were within the ARE methodology is we do work with people to look at what are the actions that they've taken, what are some of the actions they haven't taken, how do they actually move forward? Because you can have lots of thoughts. I'm sure all of us here have lists and lists and lists of things to do. But really, do you really need to have everything on that list, right? So we really do look at, is this something I can move forward with? Is it something I can park and work on later? Is it something that I can do on my own? Is it something that perhaps I can collaboratively request some support on? So even just being able to look at some of those items, they always say when you write something down, you're already releasing your anxiety. So we really support people with our tools and with our course to have them move forward with and to, pardon me, worry less and enjoy life more.
Yeah, and I love that because I really do believe elimination is so important to get to where you want to go. We have to take things off. We can't do
Yeah.
everything for everyone all the time. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, right?
You do.
And I think part of that pressure is the worry, right? Because it's like a pressure cooker, right? We
Yeah.
put that pressure, you know, and maybe a little pressure is good, but we put too much pressure. And between the pressure we put ourselves and the environmental pressures and other people's pressures and all that too, that, like you said, can cause so much havoc on our lives and on ourselves. So when we're able to release some of those things out of, write them down, take them away, eliminate, remove, we're able to be more present and more peaceful in the moment, and not take the weight of the world on our shoulder.
That's right.
Exactly. And just by speaking the worry, just by writing it down, even though you haven't done anything else about the worry, it does start to lessen. And you can all try it right now. Just think about the one thing that you're worrying about. And as Lou said, you just want to look, well, what have I already done? What actions do I know to take that I'm not willing to take, right? You start looking at that. All you got to do is say them to yourself, and you're going to notice right away there's like a calmness because you get to see, oh, I have done some things towards that. And that's what I think people miss. Like they're worried, but they miss that you're worried about it and you're doing things about it as well.
So I have a picture of
integration.
one more second and we'll go over to you. I have a picture when you said that of like a dump truck. Just like dumping
Right.
dumping the garbage out.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
Go ahead,
great.
over
That's
to you.
so great.
I just had that image.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
perfect.
That. Yeah.
Over to you, Abdul.
And the imagery is right. Like just this cleansing, this kind of, you're when you look at the comments that I made and then it goes to Lou, what we're talking about is really integrating into your life. Right? And so you connect first with the heart and the brain and this, kind of the breath work thing where you're identifying what's there. And then, as we're describing, then you now bring it into the physical world with writing, right? So you're kind of connecting here and you're taking it out. And not any one of these things will solve it all, but it's this integration of each of these things into your life. And then now you're writing it. And as Lou mentioned, you can go to our website, whyworryworld.com, and then we've got products that allow you to integrate this skillfully into your world. Because just like anything, you can go to the gym, get the best exercise, but if you're not doing that every single day, then, right? So we've provided this community that has products, resources, and a community so that you get the full integration. And the course then takes it to where you're writing it down. Then if you want to go deeper, you can go to the course and so on.
So it's consistency over time that will get you there. It's not like one time you're sitting here and you're breathing and you worry, it helps, but it's the whole curriculum and the whole steps you will take people through. What did you call the methodology?
The ARE methodology.
Can you explain that?
Well, we have acknowledge, reflect, and engage.
Oh, so that's ARE.
Yeah.
Correct.
Say it one more time to the audience.
Acknowledge, reflect, and engage.
Love that.
Yes. And there are different steps within each of those sections that we work with people to go through. Now, we do have online experiences, which we call OLAs. Olay.
Ole,
And- I won't give up my day job. Right?
Thank you.
But and that's really terrific because that's an opportunity where we actually work through some worries. And those resources are also on our YouTube. You'd be able to go there and listen to those recordings.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and the Olays are all about the those top 10 worries. We try to do is on a monthly basis, and we'll be more consistent in January. But we'll be going through each of those worries, and then going through some case studies so that you can see how we work through the ARE method. And we invite people to come live to our Olays. So as you're hearing that worry, if you come with a worry, I know Ricky, she travels a lot like me, I love it, and she helps me with my anxiety. I just talk to her and she tells me different things, so I don't worry about travel anymore. But so, it's pretty cool because we're a big community.
And where's your
everyone
community? Is
contributes.
it on an app or online? Where's the community?
You want to talk about our app?
So, yes, so we have an app. You can actually find us in the Google Play Store and the App Store.
We can download it.
You
Yeah.
can download
right on
it.
our phones.
Yep.
I
Yep.
love that. That
And
is
it's,
so easy.
On
Yep,
iPhone
very,
and
very
Google.
easy. And that will take you to our course, which for right now, actually, you can come and take for free.
No
So,
way.
Yeah.
So if
amazing.
you're interested in finding out more about the ARE method to worrying
I'm
less,
gonna download it right now.
download
Are
it
you
right
kidding me?
now.
This is
Yeah.
amazing. You can take
s-
a course for free?
for free.
Oh my
Yep,
goodness.
it's in our beta stage, so we're still testing it, and so we would love for you to take it. We would love for your input and the results that you get.
Feedback, right?
Feedback, yeah.
Feedback, review, right?
Yeah,
All that
and
stuff.
you'd be surprised. I mean, so many people, when you spoke a little bit about it not being a one and done, the practice, the ARE method is very, very easy. It's the kind of thing where, like, you could be at a stoplight and say, oh, and then work through the ARE method before the light even changes and have your next action, because that's really what it is. Its action is what's going to help you reduce the worry, which is why just even speaking your worry, that's an action, and it reduces you worry. Writing it down, that's an action. So,
It's about
yeah.
getting out of your head, right? Like Landmark
Exactly.
says, right?
Right.
Being in your head is being in a bad neighborhood, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And getting it out, getting into action, right?
right.
Because when we're in
Exactly.
action, we're moving energy. When we're moving energy, we're going to feel better. We're not stuck here. We're
Correct.
actually going out there and, creating something different. Like you said, and being in a creation mode.
Correct.
So I mean, I love this. I think this is like so needed, so important, and they get to download it for free. I'm so downloading this
Please.
as soon as
Take-
we're done, because this is great.
Yeah.
These are great tools, and you're right now just giving it to people.
Correct.
And right now, it even comes the app download comes with even more value. We have like coaches, and Sil, she's not here right with us, but I'm gonna just give her kudos. She's an amazing ARE coach, and she is extremely skillful at sitting with people and identifying ways to walk them through the ARE method. And at the World Healing Tour, she was there, and it was awesome. And people were walking through, and after they went through, great testimonials about how transformative it was. And so, with an app download, as long as you're downloading it from this podcast, we also will provide coaching. And so, as you get the download, as you're working through it, as Ricky mentioned, we're excited. It's beta, and we're really going to be doing some things to make it better. And so, what we want to do is we want to work directly with some of those individuals to make sure that you're going through the process and you're getting the best from it. And you can work hand in hand with either Sil or myself. And I'm volunteering myself to do this. And and we'll be working with you all as you download that.
I love the personal touch, right? That you're still in beta and you're still there to really walk people through it. That's really special, and
Yes.
people get to, really feel what you're doing and really benefit from it, in a whole nother way. So I wanted to ask you, do you have any like stories, like Ricky shared her story, any story you want to share maybe that has made a difference for someone you worked with or made a difference in your life with this technology?
Well, I mean, I'll share, and it is without my daughter's permission.
Nothing
so-
like putting you on the spot.
But
Yeah.
my daughter is amazing. She's she's moved several times in college and out of college, and for her to be able to move to another town, to start another job, to find housing, to create a community. Those were things that were concerns and worries. And so for her to use the ARE methodology in, acknowledging what she knew and did, what she was doing and not doing, what she understood and not understood of the area that she was moving into, reflecting on what is it that really she wanted? Like, what is it that she really wanted to create and to put that on paper? I have to tell you, I get chills because I came across a list of hers the other day and I could check off everything that she created for herself is what she created for herself in her new location. And so to me, that's a great testimonial of being able to walk through the ARE methodology and to really own authentically what she wanted. Um, and yeah, and she's had a very successful move. So I would say that that's
And
the
she
most
worried
recent.
less, right?
And she worried less,
And
like
she,
really worried less,
yeah, or
you
maybe didn't
know.
even worry.
And well, there's always a little, I think even if something exciting does happen, that some it's like, oh, so then, there can be another worry.
Yeah.
But even down to, I want my refrigerator to be full. I want this to occur, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, just, before she started her actual job. So it's just really, um, I think to me, that's the most touching and most recent.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Kids make us so proud.
Yeah.
And you know what I think about no worry? This just came to me, and I'm sure you guys probably work with that as well. When you're not in a worried space or in a less worried space, right? Or even you just tell yourself, why worry? Like, I don't have control over everything. I was telling you, Mel Robbins, she just wrote that book that says, let them. So it's almost like, don't worry, let them do this, let him go with her, let them, don't hold on to us. But what really came to me really clearly as you were talking, that when you worry less and you let go of the worry so much, right, we can manifest more. That's right.
Exactly.
So how do you guys tie that also into manifestation with worrying less? Is that something that you've seen people tap into, or?
Yes, so I'll share a brief story. I was working with someone who was pretty much, she was a waitress and had been a waitress for 20 years. And she was about 40 years old. And we were having a conversation. And I just asked her, like, what do you want to have when you're 50 years old? Or where do you see yourself? And really, she could only see herself where she was. And I said, well, what if you could be actually in a position or a job that was paying you more or offered health care or all of these concerns that she had. And she's like, oh, yeah, but by the time that happens, I'm going to be 50. And I said, well, you're going to be 50 anyway, right? So she actually took on going back to school. And I'm so proud because she's now working for a hospital and she's not yet 50. So it's like amazing, right? Like it sped up. It didn't take her 10 years. And it's like she was freed up because all she could see was her future was being a waitress, and that was it. And once, I said, well, maybe it doesn't have to be. And you get to start to look. And I think that that's the piece that people, I don't think that they actually look. I think that they just sit back and they're afraid. Oh, my future. Oi, I'm going to have to move. I'm going to be alone.
People
I don't know
like
anybody.
change. People don't like
Exactly.
change, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but they fear what happens if they stay there. Well, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, for me, I think it was about fear. That's always been a big motivator for me. From when I was little, I was picked on, so I'm afraid I'm going to get beat up. So it's like when I understood that the antidote to fear is action, my whole life changed. And when you look at the ARE method, you become aware, right? You reflect and then you engage. And at the end of the day, you're taking action. And so there's nothing for me that I've ever been anxious or depressed about that hasn't stemmed from a fear. And so when you really breathe in and get at that and the root of it, okay, it's because I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that, I'm afraid that I'm not worthy, I'm afraid I'm going to get rejected, I'm afraid. It's always like fear for me, at least.
I'm afraid I'm going to do great.
Right. Even like, no, seriously,
Yeah,
that's
I
been
know.
lately. That's been, I'm like, damn, I'm landing too many
Too
deals.
much.
Oh, I can't handle it. I can't find the people. It's like, really? Like, come on, it's always something, right? And then you're like, woosah, everything's going to be okay, right? And then you use the process. And for me, that's been the journey. And even before I understood that what I was doing was the ARE method, and I saw it as simple as, you're afraid, die or do something. It just became super simple. That's your true nature, right? And then you breathe and you're like, you could either or move, do action. And then when you take intentional action, that requires this stillness. That requires for you to then you're in a position to create and manifest. And then your action is intentional. And then the outcome is that or something better. It always is. And the more you do that, the more confidence you have. The confidence breeds more success. The confidence then becomes manifesting. And then you live a life where you're worrying less and enjoying life more.
I love that. So, how can people, since our time is already moving really fast here, how can people find you one more time, connect with you, work with you? Besides, they can download the app. Anything else you want to say before?
Well, you can come to our website, which is Why Worry World, because we don't want the world to worry, right? So whyworryworld.com.
We also have a YouTube channel where you can find our Olays, some story times with Ricky that also are just different stories walking through different worries, and of course at our app on the Google whatever PlayStation store, whatever.
You can
Whatever
find
that
all of
thing
those
is.
links at whyworryworld.com.
.com, right.
Our
And the
social
next-
media and everything.
And the next World Healing Tour.
Yes, in
Absolutely.
2025. We'll
Supportive.
definitely would looking forward to collaborating with you guys.
Yes,
I
our
really
new
love
community.
the synergy between all of us.
Yes.
All right, so I want to thank you so much for coming out today, for sharing your incredible work in the world. You guys look them out. Why Worry World? There's no reason. Don't worry less. Be happy. 1, 2, 3. Let's say that.
Worry less and enjoy life more.
I love that. Yes, let's go. So thank you so much, you guys. It was an honor to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us,
having
Noah.
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for joining me today at the World Healing Tour podcast. Until next time, remember to do these 3 important actions. Number 1, every day remember to have a grateful heart and connect to your gratitude. Number 2, remember every day to ground in love and compassion, first for yourself and then share that love and compassion with others. And number 3, remember that you are not alone on this journey. We are always guided by a higher power. I call it God. So know that you're not alone. You're an incredible guided journey. Until next time, everyone, remember, have a beautiful week. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hi, this is Noah Crane. I'm excited to share this anthology book with you, The Grass Grows Where I Am. So just join us and be a part of this incredible book to help bring your message and influence into the world. We're excited to showcase what you do to make this world better. Click the link below. The World Healing Tour Movement with your host, Noah Crane. Heal yourself, heal the world.